U.S., thereby increasing oil prices. Now, I added some links in the video description below that go more into detail about the Bilderberg Group's involvement with the 1973 oil crisis. But at the very least, remember this. The oil crisis shows us exactly why we must constantly watch the Bilderberg Group, and also begs the question, what are they up to now? Once again, this is Kit Daniels with Infowars.com, and keep checking back on Infowars.com for continued coverage of the Bilderberg meeting. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to our new YouTube channel, Resistance News, and also to the Infowars Underground Insider newsletter.
All right, that's Kit Daniels, one of our great reporters. We're now well into hour number 2 on this Friday edition. I am your host, Alex Jones. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up at the bottom of the next hour, UFC fighter, but really the reason he's on is Green Beret, Special Forces soldier Tim Kennedy is going to be in studio with us for 30 minutes talking about societal collapse, because it's already happening all over the world. Culturally, it's happening here. Economically, it's happening, and it's being organized. And mass mental illness is increasing. They've created an artificial system where people don't ever have to actually do anything while they're being made dependent. That's a perfect storm of control. And we've got EBT cards not working around the country and people melting down. Why are the globalists pushing us towards societal disintegration? We're going to be talking about that coming up in the next hour. In fact, will you guys pull me all those articles from yesterday? Thank you. Now, obviously, there's some big developments here with open borders. Last hour, I played a clip from the Morning Joe where they sent their reporter down to the border for over a month, and he found that the vast majority of people want a border wall. They agree with Donald Trump, and the majority of them are Hispanics. And Hispanics wanted the wall more than Anglos. And they said they didn't really know why, or maybe it was because they were first generation and, you know, had paid their dues. No, I know the folks on the border. Most of them are ranchers, and they actually work, and they're producers, and they are 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th generation in Texas and New Mexico and Arizona. Really cool people. And they're mainly Hispanic, and they are almost universally upset about what's happening, because they get robbed, they get killed, people walk right in their house, they sever people's heads, they kill their cattle. It is just a collapse. Most women, what is it, 80-something% of women being brought in get raped by the coyotes. I don't mean the wolves. I don't mean the diminutive wolf. I don't mean the smaller canine. I mean the smugglers. That's on record. But don't worry. The Hollywood White House-funded director, Robert Rodriguez, puts movies out where the cowboy white guys are shooting pregnant Hispanic women. That's not going on. So this, again, is the triumph of the hoax over reality, but it's coming out. At the limit, Mexico buckles under migrant surge to U.S. This is, again, out of Reuters. Oh, Mexico says, stop taking people. It's so many are coming into our country to get to you. Some of them aren't leaving. We can't handle it. We need money to then speed it up. Mexico is struggling to stem the flow of Central American migrants. Oh, they're migrants traveling to the United States ahead of this. It's all UN language, ahead of the U.S. presidential election, causing major concern in Washington, which is weighing sending more agents to help. And then the agents get there and load them on contractor trucks and bring them in contractor vans to legalize them. In 2014, Mexico moved to strengthen its southern border when a surge in child migrants from Central America sparked a political crisis in the United States. They just call it a child wave. That's a total red herring. Last year, Mexico detained over 190,000 migrants, more than double the number in 2012. And now they say it's just collapsing, and what are they going to do? They need money. Yes, of course. Meanwhile, remember, Illinois tried to pass a law last year, narrowly was defeated. No. The legislature passed it, but then it was getting held up by the governor last time I checked. Hey, can we look on the status of Illinois trying to pass a law? Just type in Illinois trying to pass law. I think it did pass. I'm going from memory. Check it. Illinois passing law to let illegals vote. I mean, imagine if Mexico said we're passing law to let illegals vote. That's just crazy. But only in America. Well, now San Francisco hopes Trump fear will lead to voting rights for illegal immigrants in the city. Fox News. locally. The San Francisco Board of Supervisors is hoping that residents of the city who fear Donald Trump's rhetoric and policy proposals will flock to the polls this November and support giving voting rights to illegal immigrants. Amazing. And again, TB pouring in and other diseases that are untreatable in many cases, drug-resistant strains, it's all okay. This is a government literally trying to enslave and kill everyone. This is a government wanting things to completely and totally break down. Meanwhile, Roger Stone has put us in contact with the main group that he certifies as the best group out there that is setting up the Stop the Steal rallies that are now just a First Amendment Trump support and to try to keep the communists and socialists and the White House run George Soros people from completely, trashing Cleveland. And now the police have apologized to us off the record, and I've talked directly to Stone, has talked to them, but they said we've been ordered to not give you permits, period, or let you meet 10 miles away in a warehouse district where no one can see you, or where the communists can come, I guess, and beat you up. Kit Daniels has this report up on Infowars.com. Cleveland to ban Trump supporters outside RNC. So free speech zones to put Trump supporters on the other side of the planet. Everything else has been rigged. Wouldn't they do this? And I'm telling you right now, I'm going as a citizen out there. The communists and socialists are going to be running around doing whatever they want. And I'm going down there, and I'm going to walk around, and I'm going to talk about the First Amendment. I don't care what the Democrats that run Cleveland, Ohio have to say. And everybody needs to be there. They know libertarians and patriots and conservatives and constitutionalists. You know, if the government says don't demonstrate or we're not giving you a permit, tend to go, oh, okay. Because we don't want to be associated with the communists and all those folks that run around doing stuff. You're going to let them take over if you do that. It's now time to say, we're going to exercise this, period. We have the police arresting and detaining and doing all sorts of people to reporters in Germany trying to cover Bilderberg, the folks that have opened the borders, the folks that are threatening the UK not to try to leave the EU. They never voted to enter. Just like we never voted to enter the Trans-Pacific Partnership that welds the Asian Union, the European Union, and the North American Union together. The city of Cleveland is attempting to suppress pro-Trump rallies during the Republican National Committee convention, a move even the liberal ACLU has called unconstitutional. Democratic city officials are giving pro-Trump groups 24 hours to complete applications for free speech permits, which they won't give us, which severely restrict the First Amendment rights of applicants. They just say, do this, or that's the way it is. There's only 18 hours of permit time under these regulations. Parade time over the 3 or 4 days of the convention, ACLU General Counsel Susan Becker said, we just found out about that recently. So we are hoping we can really negotiate these points, but it's really up to the city to come back with more reasonable time, places, and manner of regulations. And it goes through how it's really far away in the free speech zones that have all been adjudicated to be unconstitutional. Then we've got House passes Puerto Rico rescue. The collapse accelerates. The EBT cards suddenly aren't working in many areas. Beta testing. We're going to get to all of that coming up. The 5.2 magnitude desert earthquake shakes Southern California. Is that a tremor for the big 8.5? Seismologists say is 2 years overdue. And if it hits in a populated area, you'll think it's the intro to Thundar the Barbarian. I guess if you haven't seen that in the 1970s, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But let's just say something out of a disaster movie. So we're looking at all of that. We're also going to be looking at what's happening with the stock market. Stocks drop as government bond yields hit fresh lows. And I've got stacks of articles where the elite are buying gold and hoarding cash and getting armored redoubts. I know we've talked about it forever, but now it's in the mainstream news. But now we go to Dresden, Germany, the site of the most prestigious world government body, which for 60 years they kept secret. Now, thanks to DrudgeReport.com and our reporters and Infowars.com and others, they are forced to report on the goings-on there. And days after we broke it, CNBC, everybody else reported exactly what we said. Trump, stopping the British exit out of the unelected euro, world taxes, carbon taxes, internet IDs. It's all on the table. A giant power grab by an unelected group of crooks meeting with our ministers on their knees, literally, and I'm told in some cases, bathhouse figuratively. Paul Joseph Watson, what has developed since we talked to you 24 hours ago?
Well, of course, the big development, Alex, which Rob will get into in more detail because he was there on the scene, was the big confrontation we had last night with the governor of Saxony, Stanislav Tillich. Now, of course, this is huge because every single time Bilderberg happens, the media claims it's just a talking shop, that no decisions are made. It's no big deal. But we've got this guy on tape, and this is massive, brazenly admitting that he comes here to attract investment into Dresden. In other words, lobbying. This is a huge lobbying scandal, and he's been caught on tape brazenly admitting it. Meeting with politicians, again, as Skelton said yesterday, this is a politician-rich conference. He's meeting with them. He's attracting investment to Dresden. He also admitted that he's basically sitting at the kids' table. So he might get to speak to the big wigs, to the senior Bilderberg elitists at some point, but for the time being, probably tomorrow when he will visit, he will sit, 100 feet away from them and barely get the chance to even talk to them.
And let's be clear, they always do this. They always have about 3 or 4, like Fareed Zakaria or the lady from the Washington Post. They always have a few of these little minions to act like the press is there, but they have to sign an agreement, which is admitted, not to speak about it. And then they'll usually have the mayor or the local billionaire, whether it's New York, whether it's London, wherever, or Virginia. They'll have a local who literally has to sit at a little kid's table and maybe summoned into the real king's court. So this is a modern Versailles, is what Bilderberg really is. Go ahead.
Exactly. And he's gone on the record. He's talked about it because he's not aware of what this is all about. Again, he's committed the cardinal sin, which is to talk about Bilderberg. The first rule of Bilderberg, like Fight Club, is don't talk about Bilderberg. He's broken that rule before he's even attended.
But he's proud of himself because he's saying, hey, I'm here to just get money locally. Sounds like he might be a patriot.
Could be. Or he could just be completely unaware of what Bilderberg is all about and why they've enforced this Chatham House rule where they can't go on record about it. But that is an absolutely huge report, and it's up on Infowars.com right now. The other development is today we went about half a mile away from the site of the hotel and found, thanks to a local tip, the water cannons that they're preparing for a big protest tomorrow.
How loving. So Bilderberg prepares water cannons to repulse the knaves.
The article's already up. We need them to add the video to it because that's just gone up as well. So there were 2 protesters here yesterday, basically, who held cardboard signs. They were harassed by police. They were forced to put the signs away. Later on, we heard that they were reportedly arrested for possessing a tent and, wait for it, a loaf of bread, because a loaf of bread was treated as a dangerous weapon here in Dresden. We were actually told that. That's not confirmed, but that's what we were told that they were arrested for. So for 2 people with a couple of cardboard signs and a loaf of bread, they've got water cannons ready. Now, that's not to say that there won't be trouble, because also we've got left and right protesters coming together, potentially clashing tomorrow here.
Yeah, let's just say it. The Soros rats are always being activated to come in and stir up trouble. They don't even know why. So the police have a cover when they're ordered to go in against everybody. And again, we're not blaming the police, but that's how the globalists do it. They ship in the anarchists, they stir it up, then the police are ordered to stand down during the first rollout. Then in the second phase of the rollout, they then are told to attack everybody. Go ahead.
No, that's what we've been told, that what usually happens is that they have these left versus right protesters. They start off peaceful, but then an agent provocateur, somebody from the left, because in one case they later identified him, starts throwing bottles at the police, giving the police to go in with the excuse of being heavy-handed. So that's what we've got to be wary of tomorrow. Again, it's Saturday, people are off work, so there's likely to be more protesters here, and it could be a clash between left and right. So that could be the spark that sets off some kind of a police action involving the use of those water cannons and a militarized scoop tank, which is also pictured in the article.
Oh my gosh, well, there's the headline, water cannons, scoop tanks. That scoop tank is directly out of Soylent Green. Holy Toledo.
Yeah, and they're parked up there. There was a security guard guarding those 3 vehicles. We went up there, tried to talk to him. He didn't want to talk. After about 3 minutes, we were kicked out by another security guard who came up, and it's all on tape. So, they're getting ready for something big, and it could happen tomorrow.
Well, I mean, this is classic. We saw in Switzerland, the police were really mean the first few days, but then realized what was happening, and they were more pro-free speech, and it was literally villagers marching with torches up to the gates of the situation right out of